Welcome back, one and all. We are at it again. The last match here in the EMEA region to finish out our group stage number 1 in OWCS. My name is Zoe, and I am joined by no other than the dynamic duo of Jack and Rose. Guys, have we recovered from what we just witnessed?
No, that Riptire is going to live rent-free in my head, probably for at least the rest of the day. Because, what an amazing thing to see happen on a broadcast. Like, we just don't get treated to things like that very often. Maybe it was just the old metas that we had in Overwatch League, where I feel like we saw a lot of the same comps over and over again. And maybe the Amalgam meta now, but...
Yeah, shout out to Kaya. You blessed us. You may not have made it out of the group, but...
If we transition to a Zarya meta, I'm down. Zarya's fun.
Why not?
Zarya is cool.
Why not? Well, let's see what the next two teams have in store for us. We're starting with Ex Oblivione. They will go up against Celtas. And Ex Oblivione, I mean, their loss against the group favorite Space Station Gaming basically put them in the spot here today. And it was such a close match. Through it all, they stuck it out with the Ramatra comms against, what was it, Winston, Ryan, anything else SSG threw at them. How will they fare in this meta, you guys think?
I think they're actually going to do really well here, because while we haven't gotten a chance to see them yet, I think, like, one of the things that they do bring to the table is going to... I think, like, when you look at the Ramatra versus the Winston, we do see the Mauga play very similarly to what we ended up seeing here with the Ramatra. Just brawl, run into them. And even though it is a space station, there's a ton of amazing plays we ended up seeing yesterday with just the combos that we saw from, like, the Mauga and the Reaper, for example.
Yeah, that's how they were winning a lot of their fights too, where when we were seeing Celtas, was just the combos. That was like cage into this, cage into that, cage into this. So I can imagine we're going to see a lot more of that today. I would imagine. Celtas, with Kai on the roster. It's always funny seeing Kai's name with the, Kai. But this match is going to be extremely tough for this team, like straight up. Ex Oblivione, they're stacked. They're one of the favorites. They were the favorites to win the group. Or one of the favourites to win the group, sorry. And then you... Space Station being the favourite. And then you're against just so many legends. It's really hard to think that Celtas are going to come out on top. They did, of course, end up going down 3-0 to Space Station in their very first game. And this might be the same kind of affair. I don't think we're going to go to a map 5 here, Rose, but anything can happen. Elimination game or decider games, they must be trifled with when it comes to silliness and, you know, surprises here and there.
I think you're right about that one. And I think Zoe set us up really, really well. That, like, with EXO, when it came down to actually playing against Space Station Gaming, like, we did see the Ramatra, but I think that translates over super nicely to seeing something like the Mauga composition, and EXO have intel on what Celtas wanted to run yesterday. So get that info, get it downloaded into your brain, and bring out something to counter that when it comes down to playing out this match. That's the key to success here.
Downloading the information, then put it into play. There you go. So, a couple of clips from yesterday, I believe. Although we'll show those a little bit later, don't worry. As Lijiang Tower will be our first match, or map, sorry. And with a lot of the combos that we were talking about, it was a lot of the time, so that's just relying on those. They were against one-man army. It was a 3-1, but as soon as Celtas, they lost the first map, and then they really found their pace. They found their footing, and it was just, well, Mauga, Cage into Reaper, Death Blossom, or one of the other combos that you can play. Yeah. So, although we aren't seeing that at all now, and we're just seeing Kai skewered like a shrimp on a barbecue. That was one of the fastest kills I've ever seen.
That is going to be an immediate send back to spawn there, and also an immediate switch up. Kai is going to switch off of the Reaper and go to the Tracer. Tracer going to be a little bit more impactful when you see the Tracer and the Sojourn on the other side, but this might just put to the test here what this Mauga versus Orisa can really do.
Yeah, Ex Oblivione, I mentioned at the top of the stream, or the top of the show today, you know, maybe Orisa is kind of that. Like, some other regions are playing it, you know, Word on the Street is, you know, maybe the Orisa's good here. Or maybe the Orisa is good into the Mauga. Oh my god, okay. Canel trying to tag the Lucio there. It was so silly. But we'll see how it actually ends up panning out. Of course, like I mentioned before, a bit top-heavy in terms of talent for Ex Oblivione, but hey, if the Mauga works, we'll see. We'll see if it is truly the counter to the Orisa or if it's the other way around.
I don't know, it could be, but like, it's Celtas is kind of trying to just find some footing in this game. Kai's actually going to switch over to the Genji away from the Tracer, but Katsina rush first.
Yep, there's the rush, there's the back off overclock, being ripped by Shockwave. Already, Tomo's like half HP. Gotta be careful if you're Poto. That rush has completely disappeared. Sound barrier almost got interrupted, or could have been interrupted by Chase using that spear pin to push the Lucio away. Sound barrier be damned, apparently, as Chase just runs over the back line. A triple kill for the Orisa. I mean, there's nothing the Genji can do there. And then Cloud cleans up with the next two. Two ults ripped from Ex Oblivione, and they win the fight. It's almost final fight for Celtas now, with a Sombra EMP on the horizon.
Yeah, and there's no sound barrier anymore either, and there's also no Sombra. So I think this is going to be final fight by the time that Celtas ends up walking back into this one. You would hope that EMP would be the fight winner here, but Crispy has the sound barrier himself, so just pop that in a response. I think you're feeling really good about it. You also don't have a nano for this blade, and I think that Ex Oblivione just has a ton of sustain to deal with the DPS ults that can get thrown at them.
Tracer with a pulse bomb too. You might as well just kind of wait out for this EMP. Curious to where Crispy's playing currently, because they got to know that's coming soon. Cloud looking for an entrance, making their presence known on the Tracer. Hits the Re, just to get out of the way of those kunais, but now can just kind of dominate the backline. An easy blink on to your ally for the Kiriko, but it's just such an easy follow-up for that Tracer. The point does end up getting flipped, as the Magground ultimate does end up coming down. The cage locking people in place, perfect for the Genji, but they're just getting kited out almost. Kai does end up coming up with one kill in the end, and a fair amount of damage too onto the body of Chase. And we Celtas winning their first fight of this series and this map, as they do find a flip and start building up their own percent.
Yeah, but that was everything. They needed Cage Fight and the double DPS ultimates in order to break through that defense that Ex Oblivione had set up. And EXO are coming back in with the Pulse Bomb as well as the Overclock. So gotta be scared if you're Celtis to be able to deal with that. Make sure that GCB can come in here with the sound barrier.
Jeez. Like, GCB was close to Ajaxing there, but not quite. So I've already missed one of those today, so might as well make it two. Cloud, Cloud, who was pressuring that point the whole time. Like, Celtics were, like, delivering themselves to him. OT here, and even with the rush, it's going to be hard to like, really lock down a kill, especially as you're so split. Overrun unable, and even the swift step from the Kiri unable to touch the point to trigger OT again. Ex Oblivione take round one.
Cloud is just such a dominant Tracer, too. We ended up seeing this Tracer play during the Overwatch World Cup, and time and time again, I feel like Cloud just comes up clutch, whether it's just quick picks in the back line, or even just contending toe-to-toe with another Tracer. That was just lights-out gameplay coming through from that DPS player, and I think it's going to be tough for Celtis to find a way to break through this Orisa comp if they can't figure out how to deal with that Tracer.
Yeah, I'm curious if Cloud's still going to play that here. Could play a lot, but I mean, Tracer's still pretty valuable even on Control Center. I mean, yeah, if you kind of know Celtics are running the same thing, maybe you just stick with it. So I was just taking out leave of...
though.
Yeah, he's taking a leave out of Ex Oblivione's book, jumping over to the Orisa.
I like the Orisa choice a little bit more. Tamer had a hard time being able to break through the sustainability that Orisa has with the Fortify. It just gives you a lot of staying power on the point. Oh. You need that. Wow, especially for your DPS.
I wonder if that was a headshot from Kanale there with a kunai. You just saw this Hydra's health bar just evaporate.
It was more than just the pulse pistols. Like,
yeah, it must have been a headshot from a kunai. But regardless, Ex Oblivione capping first again.
Now you're stuck at the door. I think the Zytra still has a lot of pressure to be able to push Ex Oblivione back, but you can play so far forward here if you're EXO. Do you take this rotation?
You could rotate to server. Looks like they want to go main though. Bit of an easier firing line, although saying that, just up the small little ramp is normally better. Force people on the low ground to look up at you. Oh, nice little spear. Just trading them. Trading cooldowns, that's all the Orisa's doing right now. Classic Overwatch moment. Although saying that, Chase is behind them. Well, Cloud ends up getting found out in server room as they end up using the rush on the point. than being Ex Oblivione. Same with Celtas. Are they going to be able to push forward and make use of it, though? Whoa, how did Shockwave get over there? Just slipped right over with that slide, and Chase with the ult. Oh, completely countered by that sound barrier. That Terror Surge not finding anything there, apart from a little bit of tickle damage. Nice flip there from Celtas as they push Ex Oblivione all the way to spawn almost.
You're fine with this. You got 57%. You got out a really key ultimate there from GCB and that sound barrier, and now you have your own. So, like EXO have the ultimate economy. They just need to go in and make sure that Shockwave can't just have... Sidra can't have free reels here. Oh,
Cloud, what a pick! No chance to use that Suzu. Look like Cloud was maybe going for a pulse, but if you got aim like that, you don't need the ult. Nice little kill onto the Sojourn as well. Okay, Cloud is just taking these guys to town. And with the sound barrier, that's just a guaranteed fight win for Ex Oblivione there.
No, it's super easy. You don't even need to use the pulse bomb there. The overclock was plenty to be able to click those heads. Now, Kaneo also has the opportunity to be able to work up to that rush. That's why you push forward a little bit there. Not only do you get a chance to sneak away with a little bit of a stagger there onto Zydra, but Kaneo's going to be able to have that rush back online. Shockwave
must have gotten stunned. I didn't quickly tag the portrait. I'm not sure if it was stunned due to the spear there, but Shockwave just goes down to some potential spear and some fire from the Orisa. This definitely ends now for Ex Oblivione's defense on this point. It will be Cloud just touching for a brief moment, granting at least a 2 extra %, making it a final fight for Ex Oblivione now.
Ooh, Terra Surge though online here for Tummer. There's an opportunity maybe to just position everybody in front of the rush from Pado. There's no sound barrier on either side, so these ultimates are going to hit really hard.
Kaneo rush on the point. Cloud getting checked by the Genji on the sidelines. Push in for Chase. No Terror Surge, but it might not matter. Well, that's a Terror Surge. A Terror Surge of all time. Ex Oblivione managed to escort themselves out of that one quite rapidly as Summer jumps the backline. Spear spins, hits the Fortify so they don't instantly evaporate, but the same can't be said for the rest of their team as they are just falling over right now as Ex Oblivione just run them down, and that will be the map. The point, and Ex Oblivione off to a very strong start.
Super strong, and without the Mauga, I think we're being proven again that Mauga is not going to be the total staple, at least when it comes to EMEA. But that's also just the first map. Maybe it's a little hopium. We get a chance to continue to see something different, but I liked what we saw from the Orisa versus the Mauga, and I think that we were able to see just a really good showcase of that Orisa.
Yeah, it's more survivable, which is nice. Gives the supports a little bit of reprieve. You also can kind of dominate the Mauga in the neutral if you're just spearing them, using your spear spin to push them away from the front line. Like, there's a lot of benefits to the Orisa here. I think the big one is that she just doesn't really die at all, and Mauga needs a lot of extra support. Even though it does have the armor, you're still just kind of a big squishy body. Orisa's just got a lot more there in terms of like Fortify too. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how this ends up evolving throughout the series. Jump some highlights for this one. Oh, there's that instant kill onto Kai. Just took a bit of extra straight damage, and the spear was just the kill instantly.
You're so right about that, though. I mean, like, what a fantastic display of that spear being able to push back Tummer, and then you see all of the support that this Mauga needs in order to actually operate. You have the Kitsune rush, you also had the Reaper and the Sombra in the front line for quite a while there, and it's like a lot of emphasis and support goes into making sure that the Mauga can actually function. But like the Orisa, on the other hand, I think one of the reasons why we hadn't seen it from a lot of these teams is that not only was it just sort of necessary in a lot of those 1v1s we were seeing with the Mauga versus Mauga, but the Orisa does require a little bit more synergy involvement from the team in order to be able to contend with some of these more Death Volley types of compositions. So I don't know, EXO is the type of team that I would expect to have that type of synergy to play the Orisa.
Right, yeah. I mean, maybe Orisa is going to be the next thing that's on the docket for a lot of these top-tier teams. Midtown up next. Celtas' Pig. We'll see if they can do any better on that one. Yeah, Ex Oblivione, definitely one of the favourites to win their group. Space Station Gaming already through. One of the stronger teams in EU, most definitely. And a team that's also been around for a long time as well, Ex Oblivione. There's, some history on that team. And there's also Ex Oblivione, which is insane. But it looks like we're going to a quick break, though. Maybe get some substitutions. Make sure everybody's ready in the roster, in the lobby as well. So don't go anywhere. Map number 2 up soon.
Victory is at hand. Ashes to ashes. Die, die, die.
Let's get you back out there. Maintaining connection.
I'm getting readings of cosmic disturbance in these ruins. Moira, prioritize our people, not your cosmic experiments. That's an order.
Accept my gifts, and all will be yours. Your ally has descended into darkness.
Our group energy is interesting. Very interesting.
Check this out. Methinks a Cupid I shall play. What are you looking at?
Keep moving forward.
Best of luck to you all.
All right, welcome back. Everybody's readying up in the lobby. Just a brief substitution, which we'll get to in a minute. Midtown is the map. Celtas' pick after they banned Blizzard World, and King's Row is banned by Ex Oblivione. How sad. There we go. Cookie in for Shockwave. So, a little bit more hit scan there. I mean, Shockwave played a lot of hit scan too. Cookie probably going to play the Sojourn if I had to imagine. But honestly, at this point, it's all up in the air. Maybe we see a little bit more chase on the Orisa too. If that's the way the meta's going, don't mind Sojourn whatsoever either. I mean, you kind of just shoot the Orisa, get the charge, kind of one-shot the backline. It's how Korea is currently playing this kind of meta too, with the Sojourns at least. All right, map number 2 though, Rose. Celtas, they got a lot to kind of gather from that first map. Wasn't the closest affair.
Maybe Midtown is going to be the difference maker that they need here, but as we've seen from our Team Peps versus Nuage match yesterday, like, you can still run the Orisa on Midtown, and it almost feels like it's even a little bit better than what we might have seen on Lijiang. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Ex Oblivione continue to go with a pick like that, but Celtas on the defense, they're going to run the Mauga back here. But with the Genji and the Sojourn, just like such a different view of the Mauga that we've seen from our previous teams running like the Reaper and the Sombra together.
Will someone fall for it? Doubtful, but you know.
No, surely.
No. Storm
Surely
arrows,
not.
an Ana sleep, and an Ana nade, and everything thrown in. No one, I think, even got a hit mark, to be honest with you. Alright, let's see then. Orisa versus Mauga. Good rotations. I mean, this is really what you want to do
Yep.
in this
Let's
Orisa
go to
comp.
the back of point.
Rotate, classic, don't go through choke. Cookie taking an overwhelming amount of damage, was 4 HP for a little bit longer than they really desired, but, oh, speaking of which, low HP, 0 is definitely low. As Crispy gets a railgun from across the map.
Well, this is the difficulty. You just get trapped in this room if you lose your Lucio. What you're waiting for is for that amp it up cooldown to be online. Use that as mobility in order to actually wrap around the point. But you don't have a shield. Like, a lot of teams that we've seen on a map like this, like, they would opt to run something like the Sigma that's a little bit slower because you have that shield in order to protect yourself in those more vulnerable positions heading towards Laundry. But it's gonna be the Orisa, so, like, you gotta make these moves quickly. You can't leave anybody behind.
So they want to do the same plan, just rotate through.
Just don't get picked this time.
Yeah, Crispy Dyson with death. Wow, that guy was riding high on the Lucio. I don't mind it. Don't hate it. You'll miss at some point, right? Surely. Clueless. 2.5 minutes to go now. Half the time bank already gone. As Cookie trying to settle the score with a railgun kill of their own. Cookie's kind of getting dominated right now by the side. Yeah, there's the dash on the Mauga. That cardiac overdrive to just helping the team just push on forward. Hollow with the shortest swift step in history, going about 2 feet in front of them. Here comes the rush, double in fact, but no, that spear somehow managed to dodge it through, dodge the Mauga, and land straight on the Kiri. Chase picking up 2 kills in that fight, and even though that pulse bomb got Suzu'd, it didn't matter in the end. Celtas are going to lose the point. Ex Oblivione going to get the payload going.
This is where the Orisa comp can start to be, like, really valuable. Set up on the high ground. You can also play around the cart really effectively, but you want this high ground to be taken away from something like the Sojourn from Zydra on Celtas' side. You've got this blade as well here from Kai. See if you can weave it past something like the Suzu.
It is going to be rough getting this blade off. Against an Orisa and a Kiri, and you have speed too. Like, this is... You're using it really just to force speed. That's really what you're using it for. Sure. You can just pull it and then not even dash up. You dash up, pull it, and then just dash back to the rest of your team. They end up popping B. We'll see how strong the mental is on Ex Oblivione. Both Sojourns unlocking that overclock. Oh, looks like Ex Oblivione not wanting to dice with that. And they're backing off, respecting Zydra.
It's nice because you already have cover to play around, but here's the blade.
There's the blade, there's the beat. Cloud didn't get it, but it's all good. They ended up hitting the recall. They're just swinging at Orisa, which is doing about, I don't know, 2 damage or something. Fortified Orisa with Sound Barrier, they ain't doing much. But that will, though. Cloud getting stuck in that cage. That's going to be the most devastating thing of a Tracer, just getting stuck in the cage with the Mauga. Ain't no way you get away from that.
Get your movement locked out there for a hot second.
Horrible.
Wow. Spearing Mauga in the face.
Okay, that is a very good kill.
Oh, Cookie gets to move forward with this too, and like the Orisa as well. You just got free reign over this Mauga who is just trying so desperately to get away.
That was lucky.
Hey.
Don't want to get hit by a stray railgun over there. Died far too many times. Someone peeks over that small little edge. There's one to take with you. Down to the low ground is the Orisa now, but that payload is swiftly approaching at that second point. Pono with the Kitsune Rush. Might just want to lay on the high ground to secure it, but it looks like Ex Oblivione, they foretold this. They end up rotating a lot quicker than Celtas really imagined, but...
Are they on point?
Who's this? Oh, it's Cloud trying to C9 the team, forcing Celtas to actually stop pushing into the low ground, and now the rush on the point is going to help them push on forward. Zydra going pretty low, and it looks like the DPS and Celtas are trying to find a say into this fight, but no, what a pulse from Cloud. Oh, there was just no hope for them. What a fantastic play from Cloud, just distracting Celtas, forcing the rotation, and then laying down that rush. Chase picking up kills, and Tama just dying on the payload.
There you go. That's a checkpoint unlocked right underneath Celtas' noses as well. So super great play. Like Cloud forcing the team back. And then you have the opportunity to respond to that with the rush. Like, that was just so beautifully executed. And Celtas was none the wiser when it came down to what they were falling for. With this card rounding the corner, too, you have a lot of room to play around with here if you're Celtas. But I'm looking at this high ground and where Cookie might be. You could even see them pinging Canale up there, too, on the Kiriko.
I see the overclocks can get a bunch of stuff done, yeah. This blade charging up pretty slowly, but all good. You're there just to force the beat, ideally. Cloud rightfully taking that high ground away from the Genji. Doesn't want any more free charge. Here comes the overclock. Cloud. Oh my! Whoa, where'd he go? Zydra looked one way at the Tracer, got speared the other way. Chase with a Terror Surge kill onto Kai, too. My god, yeah, Orisa, very powerful, very strong, and elegant. That is a force to be reckoned with in the front line. 2 minutes to go for Ex Oblivione.
2 minutes to go and 4 ultimates to do this. They're reaching the home stretch here. They just laid the rush over the line. They have the beat here to deal with the blade as well as the cage. It's looking real good here for EXO.
Oh, Cloud. Okay, okay. Go on, bump his chest. Get in there. All right, there's the sound barrier. Maybe don't want to stick anybody just yet. Wait for that to fade away first. Porto already getting kind of picked off or pushed out even. Cloud lands the pulse. Where's the Suzu? There's none of it. The Cloud. Oh, he strikes again. A double kill with the pulse bomb. I was waiting for that Suzu sound to come in, but it never came. Oh, Celtas just flattened at the very end there. 1 minute and 25 in the bank as well. A free attack if Celtas managed to get it in OT. Oh, what a pulse from Cloud. Cloud's movement too is spectacular. Like you said before, Rose, play for Team Finland in the World Cup, and you can see why the Tracer gameplay coming out from Cloud right now is just extraordinary.
Finland had a good finish too.
They did.
Like they were a very, very strong team, and I think that's another thing that you should be very nervous about playing against some of these players is the experience that they have had in a LAN environment already. Especially playing with just amazing players as well. What a great stage to prove yourself.
I'm writing that one down. Finland had a good finish.
Oh man. Did I really just say that?
Yeah, it was good. Did you not mean to say that?
I did not mean to say that.
No, what? No, right. Okay, rule on a broadcast. Always a...
No, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking credit for that. That is like so cringe.
No.
That is so cringe.
It is a joke Johnny would make, I think.
Oh, look at that too. Chat actually has 85% prediction here for Ex Oblivione. But I think it's kind of living up to that hype right now.
There are some Celtas heads in the chat there, 15%.
There are.
There are a few, 107 of them to be precise. A lot of value bettors, I would imagine. Or value predators, sorry. Alright, Celtas, what you've got? Okay, a little Sigma. So changing off completely, deciding we're going to play this a little bit more slow. Poke out the Orisa before we go in. Get easy rotations. Mauga, not for us for the time being.
Okay, look at this. So they're still getting pincered in this room because you're utilizing all of your defensive cooldowns so quickly.
Oh, okay, don't want to get you elusive.
This is so low.
Super low. Good spear to Zydra. Regenerative burst there from Porto to make sure they're kept up. Trying to catch him on the cross. You can see all the spears just permanently aimed at Porto. It's like he's got a magnet on his head. The spear's permanently flung in.
Ooh, Genji versus Tracer. How long ago has it been since we've seen a duel like that?
Too long! We should have perma Genji Tracer only. Those should be the only heroes in the game. Alright, Lamp goes down. Lamp expired now. Ex Oblivione in a decent spot on defense. They have lost quite a considerable amount of space, but if they can catch someone on the cross, all for the better. Pulse Bomb goes wide and looks like a spear spin through the window, so Celtas cannot make any use of that. Regaining control of the point now of Ex Oblivione as that rush helped them push forward. A nice little kill onto Kai, as now they can just collapse in on the room. The sound barrier is going to try and turn the tides here, but Celtas haven't really found too much, and a Terror Surge in a small room like that, only death.
The most impactful Terror Surge we have seen all game, but impactful it has been. Celtas are still back at square one when it comes to actually getting any progress on this first point. Oh man, like you've got that flux, but you just used the sound barrier. Crispy still hasn't hit it yet, so you know that there's going to be a good response mechanism for that flux when it does come through. The Sigma, like, it's just so slow.
Yeah, it's very slow to rotate. The amount of waiting you have to kind of do too, because your shield gets instantly destroyed. And then you have to use your hands, then you can't peek, because you've got no hands. Speaking of which, oh my god, Poto got eviscerated by that railgun. That was not the hero you really want to lose in that fight. My god. I'm not sure how that got caught too. I'm sure Thomas kind of kicking himself there. Same with Polo. Like, how did that not get eaten by the hands? But it must have just been a pixel off. This was really rough. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. No ticks on this first point at all.
and still, you can't get the sound barrier here out of Crispy. Like, you're looking at the Dragon Blade from Kai to be able to do that before you go in with something like the Gravitic Flux in the Overclock, but this was so slow for the Sigma to rotate a point, and Tummer's already half.
Well, the Flux is still available, Rose, like you mentioned. It's whether they can actually make good use of it. Oh, Cookie
Nice
sliding
kill.
away, sliding straight back to spawn as GCB did manage to get a couple little shearers off there, but the thing is, they've only lost one. Ex Oblivione can just make their way back into this fight. A lot of focus fire on the Orisa now as Chase tries to push onto this high ground to force this window from being not very effective. Kai also just pushing back this backline too. He's got the sound barrier. Flux, where'd it go? Not sure. Not even sure that hit anything at all. Thomas Flux having almost zero effect there as Blade has been pulled. A rush onto the point for Kaneo, but it's actually Cloud once again that comes up big with another double kill on the pulse. How is this keep happening? Cloud just keeps getting these clutch kills, these clutch pulse bombs, and that should just be it. 10 seconds to go, and Ex Oblivione pointing to the sky, thanking every single Cloud that they have. Because my word, that was going one way and it was Celtas's. Maybe, just maybe they get back, but there's just too many boops. And that'll be Ex Oblivione taking a match point. 2 ticks and a little bit there for Celtas. They had it in their hands. But Cloud said no, not today, and rained on their parade.
Like 10% away from being able to capture that first objective, and Cloud's like, I'm just gonna hit a nasty double with the pulse, and now you have no shot. This is going to be a very, very tough battle here for...
This is over, I think. If I had to call it now, I would say this is close to being...
I don't want to, because, like,
3-0.
Celta should have the St. Patrick's Day buff right now. Like, they really should.
Yeah.
They really should.
That is facts. You are wearing the green.
They don't.
Respect it.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in you. Where's your green?
Not even my socks are green. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got no green on me. There's green in the shot. We're all good. There's green.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Your fish are really celebrating there for you.
Yeah. Plant's looking good though. Even if I've been away for 3 months.
Actually do look
the other
good.
tanks not so much. They kind of look bad, but it's all good. Gets out on the other side.
On that.
Esperança is the next map. Yeah, no ticks. Sorry, no points. There was a couple of ticks on the first point there in Midtown. But Celtas, yeah, it's looking a little rough out there for them. All right, though. But Esperança being the next map, I can imagine we're probably going to see the same thing. I think Ex Oblivione, perfectly happy to kind of just run this comp. Probably just need more practice with it going later into the later stages of the game, the stage, sorry. So we'll see how, we'll see how Esperança does end up wrapping up. But right now it is looking very much like an Ex Oblivione 3-0.
Yeah, it does really look that way. I think this Chase Orisa has just been so difficult to actually get through. Don't really have a whole lot of damage for it either. Like, if Kai wants to play the Genji, I think Genji right now feels just like such a lackluster DPS in a lot of ways. The Dragon Blade isn't necessarily the same level that you would, or maybe come to have expected out of Genji, having lived in an Ana meta with the Nano Boost. So you're really not looking at that ultimate to be that high impact, but it's also just not that much damage onto an Orisa either, even with the Shuriken changes where the projectile size is just a little bit bigger.
Got that stick at the end there. That's how they end up.
That was gross.
Cleaning
Yeah.
that up. Stick on the Lucio too. It's kind of funny. I think the Lucio was just flying through the air. Looks like it was going for the Sojourn, but yeah, Lucio's be doing what Lucios do and fly through the air and randomly attach pulse bombs to themselves by accident. But yeah, Esperança up next. Just play Orisa. Just play Tracer. Cloud's got this. I think they're all warmed up now. They're ready to rock and roll, and this might just close out the group here. I mean, maybe Celtas end up coming back. Of course, this is the elimination game, so this is really their last opportunity to keep themselves in, so they can see themselves through to the main event. But this Group D, a group of death, really aptly named almost, with Space Station Gaming and Ex Oblivione, a rough group to be in. But that's just how the cards are dealt sometimes.
For sure. It's disappointing because, like, when we saw Celtas yesterday, they did show off a very strong version of the manga composition, but after it got just totally defeated on Lijiang Tower, I feel like you just can't be confident in bringing that composition to the fold. It's just so exploitable, and I think that Esperança, like, while you have a little bit of extra architecture to play around with, there's some nice high grounds. This Orisa has just been so immobile. I don't know how you remove it.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a Reaper Sombra angle. Like maybe that is what you want.
Yeah, I mean, classically, Reaper's not bad into the Orisa because the Orisa has the biggest head hitbox of all time. So you just kind of be shooting into the Orisa up close and personal. Maybe that is the angle they need to go for. Only one way to find out as we go into Esperança. I still don't mind the Soj. I think Soj has still got her merits. Maybe Soj Reaper. Maybe that's a thing they want to do. But Tracer a little bit more viable on this map as well. Although any map is viable for a Tracer, to be fair.
That's true.
Are they really going to run out of dive here?
You know what?
I think they are, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at this point, because we have seen basically everything today.
Okay, a little dive. Dive with the Tracer.
Wow.
Okay, I really, really like this. Against Tama playing the Orisa.
At this point too. Like, yeah, what does Orisa do? You don't have a lot of ability to go back and peel for your team. You do have some slippery targets there in the backline for the support duo of the Lucio and the Kiriko, but Zyder, for the most part, without the power slide, you are a sitting duck. And Cookie as well. Like, this Winston can create so much space for your own Sojourn to pop off. I really love the dive here.
But I do think that's a very good point you made, Rose. Everybody's quite slippery. You can get out of the way of the dives pretty easily, but just forcing the swift step, that's the aim of the game. Force the swift step, jump on the Kiri. Just burst her out. Even through the Suzu, very possible. The spot is going to have a hard time moving under this bridge too, unless Celtas manage to find half a team wipe or a full team wipe, because Ex Oblivione can just juggle the control of the bots as a Chase just plays an angle on the Winston. Nice little trace still. Cloud's in a big, deeper hurt. Yeah, there you go. GCB end up coming up with a kill onto Cloud. There's a whole world of pain there.
That's an dishonorable Tracer versus Tracer when you've got the Lucio to heal you up, but don't worry. Chase has also helped to even the score a little bit, as has the rest of the team. So maybe that is what you want, is Cloud to be so powerful, you have to send 2 people after him on this Tracer and just open up that forward fight for you.
Exactly. Separation of the Tracer and the rest of the team. Exactly. 2 people looking one way, which means only 3 people looking the other way. Simple mathematics. 14 meters in a bit for Celtas as Ex Oblivione now take that lead. And they can go fast here as well. If they want to just rush straight up here, they can just rush, try and find a couple of kills, guarantee themselves this checkpoint, although it doesn't look like they want to dice with that, at least just now.
They've got 5 ults. Like, the EXO are going to have 5 ults in this fight. So, yeah, you can use the rush here, but you also are spoiled for choice when it comes to what you decide to pair with that, and it's very possible that Cookie just gets a pick.
They managed to steal the bot for at least a little bit of time there, but yeah, like I said, it's easy to kind of juggle bot here and just perma-contest. Cloud paying... Oh, there you go. Paying a little bit of respect there to Kai, although not so much respect anymore. Very, very patient on that recall timing. Suzu comes out, saved Cookie's life. There's the spear. Didn't matter, though, as the beat came through from Crispy just in time. Later sound barrier from Celtas. As Zyja takes to the skies, trying to find the heads of Ex Oblivione with this railgun overclock. But everybody just dumping onto the payload now as they get booped around by Chase. This Primal Rage just displacing the entire team. A composition that really wants to kind of stick together, or somewhat at least, around the Orisa. Just getting dismantled by the Winston Primal, and that'll be the checkpoint to Ex Oblivione.
Yeah, this is just so lights out right now from this dive composition, and we were talking about how dive is one of those comps that really does require the team to be on the same page. Chase has to initiate a lot of these fights. You want to make sure that Cookie and Cloud are in the position to be able to follow up on some of that damage, and as you mentioned, just being able to juggle this bot. You can play a little bit less aggressive here too if you're the dive and wait to be a little bit more reactionary. Summer, though, has swapped off the Orisa. It is now Mauga time. It
is a Mauga time, yeah. I don't feel like that into the Winston. I think if you're a stronger team, I think maybe the Winston dive is just still super strong. The Mauga does one thing well, and that's shooting at people. Winston a little less susceptible to that because you can just kind of kite yourself away from the Mauga, then get onto the back line and then just jump out again. So Mauga doesn't really have time to, like, farm damage. Speaking of farming, though, Cookie is doing that. He's got his little farming hat on. She's kind of dominating this matchup versus the Tracer, at least. Doesn't need no Cloud to take care of the Tracer, and that'll be Ex Oblivione with another fight win under their belts. Oh, that's unfortunate. Just charging into the bus stop. No buses. They've been cancelled. Esperança is under siege by Ex Oblivione.
They could push all the way to the end. They are going to have another full set of ultimates. Pato just got staggered. Chase is going absolutely wild in the backline there. And that's just giving all the space in the world here for Cookie to charge up these railguns as well as just hit some heads. Well, Tamer is a big target for that. That's why we see these Sojourns be so successful in these Mauga compositions, because you could just charge up on the Mauga and then delete somebody else that's super squishy. 4 ults here, almost 5 when Cookie gets that overclock online.
Ooh. Narrowly missing with that railgun. Yeah, you're not half wrong. Ex Oblivione with 4 ults made that 3 as they pull that rush and chase straight into the backline. Oh, the Primal Rage, you know that is just around the corner. 200 HP, just needs a little bit of topping up before they want to go for another engage, refresh their health bar as the Primal Rage comes out. There's a Kitsune rush from Celtas. Poto does end up dodging out of the way of that Primal Rage, but here comes the sound barrier. Extra longevity in this fight. Cage gets pulled, but who's Tamer really got to fight there? I don't think anybody, to be honest. No, he's just chilling on low. Moisturized in his own lane, but you need to perk up, get back in the game. Cookie taking down GCB. Zydra dead. That bot once again in contestation, but it is Ex Oblivione's. That is for certain.
Yeah, you're just stalling for time here. If you're Celtas, you're stalling for time, trying to get ultimates. That is everything in the kitchen sink being thrown at that fight, and EXO are only a team fight away from being able to
this is full cap.
Home this map.
This is a full cap angle, if I ever did see one. Although
they have the mechanics to just get the raw kills.
Right.
Before they even have ults come online. There's none.
Well, Primal, Win's available for Celtas now, as they do hop over.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Is it too little too late here? I know you have to do something in this matchup, but I guess everybody's on ground zero when it comes to where the ult charge is, but that's a good opening. GCB getting chase.
Very good pick. All right, there you go. Cloud, maybe they get away. They got the mega health back. They got a blink up. Yeah, there's no way. Tamer knows there's blinks for the Tracer, so it's backing off. All right, bot in the favor now of Celtas. Here we go. They're going to stop those forward spawns from happening, but Crispy and Canal will spawn before that happens, so they're going to be able to take a rather fast fight here on this high ground.
3 minutes though, 3 team fights to win. It is still doable. Celtas though, they've got to make some value out of these ultimates. They've got Kai's Pulse Bomb. Maybe if you can contend with a Cloud or you nail like the Kiriko or the Lucio, you're gaming. But Celtas really gotta buckle down here.
Well, Ex Oblivione want a ball on the point. 2 support ultimates available to them as well. Although Crispy dying just randomly there. Just got cut off with the bubble, so there was no healing from Canal that could come in. I mean, Cloud finds 1, that's great, but you're going to need a lot more than that to turn this fight in your favor. Okay, Cloud heard me. Wow, he's wired into the cast. He finds another one, and Canal even stays alive long enough to help find the kill onto Poto. I mean, Cloud is just a freak of nature, man, on this Tracer. What a beast. He just took over that fight single-handedly.
Has happened a few times. Feels like it's happened a few times where we're on Cloud POV or we just see Cloud in the Elim feed. Getting a double with the pulse, just a triple. The pulse pistols. Absolutely wild. I think that Cloud for sure is a thorn in Celtas' side, and they have struggled to figure out a way to deal with him.
Kai trying to play prop hunt there, disguising themselves as a bush. Didn't end up working out. Ooh, nice little forcing of the recall there onto Cloud, but Kai can barely contend with this front line. There's too many people up there. Pulse bomb used goes a little wide. Here's the overclock from Zydra, trying to find heads to click on, but ooh, Cloud, wrong place, wrong time, buddy. You win some, you lose some. Primal Rage available. You know that Winston, if he's leaping into your backline at half HP, there's a Primal Rage coming straight at you. But he is forced away, at least for time. Just gives Polo enough space and breathing room to heal up the rest of the team now, but still stalling out Ex Oblivione. Still got 2 support almost to use. There's the rush on the point, but Cookie's already dead. Primal coming in from Tamer, trying to even this up and try and push away the members of Ex Oblivione away from that rush so they don't get much use of it. done a good job of it as well. 200 HP and counting as they get healed back up by Poto as they eventually take control of the bot once again.
They got control, but this is where they've got to keep it up and be flawless because we only have 35 seconds remaining. This first checkpoint would be crucial for them to actually carve out a path to victory. With the Sound Bearer and the Kitsune Rush as well, Celtas, they have ways to contest with these DPS ults from EXO. But 20 seconds left.
Sound Bearer available as well. A beat. Oh, the 3-man didn't get Tama, and Tama's in trouble. That Sound Barrier not hitting Tama, I think, just cost them this game. 2 kills with the overclock as well from Cookie. They've got the control of the bot. They don't even need to touch it, so they're just going to stop right there. 5 seconds to go. It's only Kai and Poto left, but no one is touching the bot. Ex Oblivione round out the series 3-0. Lightning fast. And they advance to the main event alongside Space Station Gaming in Group D.
Whew. What a fight. What a fight. Like, hats off to Celtas. This was a very tough opponent. And it was so clear that, like, Cloud's Tracer, just the dive in general, it's just tough to contend with. If you're not used to running the dive, or if you're playing against a team that is as well oiled on the dive as Ex Oblivione, it's always going to be a struggle there. But they did their best, and it was exciting to see them in the OWCS groups. And I really look forward to seeing them again in the next stage.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that this series was a one-sided affair, but on the positive here, we may continue our anti-Morga narrative.
So true. Actually,
we're still
Maybe a
winning.
little bit. Yeah.
Everybody is still winning. Now we've seen wins.
Everyone's still winning.
I mean, maybe it just comes full circle again, and we just go back to die, which will be the perfect way to, I think, end.
I mean, we've seen more than one team like lean into that, right? Of course,
very
Space Station
success.
Gaming. We saw. I mean, we also saw them in Reinhardt. So I don't know how.
We saw Doge on Doom yesterday. Anything is
Well, we saw Doom earlier today too. Didn't work out, but we did see him. So there's that. Let's take a look at the highlights to see what happened during this match. Again, it was a quick one. Ex Oblivione. They were one of the favorite teams in that group. Like, this was an uphill battle for the opposition to begin with.
Yeah, it was. Group D was Group of Death. It really was. Space Station Gaming, Ex Oblivione. Like, it went to a 3-2 in that series too, in the winners match between SSG and EXO. So, yeah, you kind of knew just from then. It's like, okay, if they're going to a map 5, the other teams are really going to have to find a new level of Overwatch to ascend to actually come back here. But there's been some nice plays, I think, back and forth. I think a lot of teams and a lot of individual players, they can still make some nice little highlight reels. Which is always really nice. And moving forward, I expect to see a lot of these players again, even if Celtas did end up going down. It's just
I agree with that.
By the way, that sounded so condescending. You can make a nice little highlight reel.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. No. I didn't mean to say it like that.
I know.
There are like crazy highlights you can make in Overwatch, even in losing games, is kind of what I mean. I didn't mean it in a condescending way. Yeah. You get it, everybody else does.
No, I'm obviously just having fun with it. I do think there's a lot of good things to be said about both of those rosters. I think one of the players which impressed me the most here from the losing side of things was GCB. I think throughout the last week, a lot of great performances there. The adjustment in their first game to the Morga meta was fantastic. I love the displacement. We talked about that yesterday, the displacement of the Reapers and the Morgas. I think Lucius have a really tough job right now when they're going up against those compositions, and he more than held his own.
Yeah, for sure. I love that you call that out because I think GCB, like, especially when you're contending with such a pesky DPS like Cloud, like, you have, like, such a tough go of things while also juggling the responsibility of making sure that you are peeling for your backline as well as providing that HP and healing to the front. So yeah, I was very impressed with GCB's gameplay yesterday as well, with the boops and all of that jazz. Like, did single-handedly win them a round with being able to boop away somebody from that contestant cart. So you do love to see that. But Cloud, like, how do you survive against a tracer like this? Nobody would want to go against that on the supportive side.
A top-tier European tracer. That's what that is. I mean, really put into display with just extraordinary pulse bomb like attach rates in kills too. At least 2 double pulse bomb kills throughout the whole series. I think maybe 3. I'd have to go back and count, but yeah, Cloud definitely deserved this.
Too many
Dude's just a beast.
I mean, any game where a Tracer gets to pop off is a good game in my books, because it's just such a fun hero to watch excel, and Cloud definitely on the top of his game. We saw a bunch of fantastic Tracer players already in that tournament, so I'm very, very excited to see the main event and see how they will stack up against one another. For now, we're heading into a post-game interview with Chase, so first things first, once again, we want to wish you... Congratulations. I was about to say Merry Christmas. No. Happy St. Patrick's Day, though. Chase, congrats to you. Thank you. You know, a bit belated or maybe a little early, but we get there. Chase, congrats on the dub. You guys now officially qualified, of course, for the main event. You were, you know, one of the top teams in your group, so I guess that was to be expected. Did any team in the Swiss stage or now in the group stage surprise you at all, or did everything just go as planned?
I mean, yeah, kinda. It's just Space Station Gaming that's only really we like struggled against them, even though before the Swiss stage we kind of dominated on them in scrims. But it's just them, only them, not anyone else.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, Space Station, that was a close map 5 as well. You went to Space Station, so can't really blame you there. I do want to get your take on the meta real quick. How do you feel like Mauga versus Orisa? I mean, versus the Dive even. It still seems to me in the top of my mind that Orisa's probably better right now, or Mauga. Like, how do you feel about it?
And it's actually pretty funny because we're the only team that plays Orisa as far as we know, actually, because everyone plays Mauga in scrims, but I think Orisa is just as good. I think it's like playable. That's all you need to know, I think.
Well, it's very obvious from how you're able to hold down the front line there, and you even forced your opponent Celtas to actually switch off of the Mauga themselves to try to match you on the Orisa. I was wondering, though, from your perspective as a tank player in this Mauga meta, like, do you feel like your responsibilities in that tank role have changed at all, or just how you play, knowing that Mauga has been so viable? Like, do you find yourself having to be a little bit more self-sustainable, or do you have to put more trust into your backline, for example?
Yeah, 100% more trust. And like as a Orisa into Mauga, I try to bait the strongest cooldown in the game, the Mauga's shouts, or however it's called, you know. And you should just try to not take much damage, so your Sojourn plays like a god role, so your Kitty doesn't heal you, but heals your Sojourn and pockets him. And as a Orisa, I just try to bait cooldowns and just really enable my team rather than trying to carry. But I guess in this match, whatever happens, just kill everyone.
Just kill everyone. Sometimes that does get you the dub. Now, yeah, we see a lot of different dynamics now, of course, with the change in meta, with the recent patch. Heading into the main event, your first opponents are going to be Rock Esports in the upper bracket quarterfinals. Have you been able to watch their games? Are you familiar with the players? How do you think you stack up against them?
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with everyone in that team, but me and probably my whole team thinks it's only Checkmate and Izayake that are really, really good. I think the rest are like okay, but you know, it's just the Koreans that are good, to be honest. And last scrim we played against them, we kind of crushed them as well, even though we were like 3-3 for maps like in like a couple of weeks ago. But lately, I think we're good. Like me personally, I'm confident in the win, to be honest.
That's good. That's the confidence we want to see and hear. And you have a very competent Tracer on your own team, so let's see if they can take it to Checkmate and Co. Thank you so much for taking the time for a chat. Congrats once again, and best of luck in your upcoming match.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.